I'm outside COEDELY Community Centre tonight, and this is a community in deep shock and deeply saddened following the deaths of 3 teenagers in a crash yesterday evening involving a car and a bus. Now, the accident happened not far off this time at around 7 o'clock on Elwyn Street, which is just a little bit further down this road, and you can see it's not particularly busy at this time of the evening. Well, tonight the 3 young men have been named: Morgan Smith and Jesse Owen, both 18 and from Tonopandi, and 19-year-old Callum Griffiths from Porth. And 2 other teenagers have life-threatening injuries. Now, it was at this community centre yesterday evening that families and local people gathered as emergency services were at the scene. They were waiting for information and more details as this terrible tragedy unfolded. Well, Matt Murray has spent the day here in COEDELY, and he sends this report.
All afternoon, friends have been leaving flowers at the scene of the crash. 19-year-old Callum Griffiths from Porth, 18-year-old Jesse Owen from Tonopandi, and Morgan Smith, also 18 and from Tonopandi, died at the scene of the collision between a car and a bus. While friends of the teenagers told me all 3 who died were really talented sportsmen and boxers.
It's heartbreaking news, and just like you say, it's a close-knit community, all good mates, you know what I mean, well-respected boys, well-known boys, great talent, all taken way too young,
Another 18 and 19-year-old were taken to the University Hospital of Wales in Cardiff with life-threatening injuries following the crash, which happened at 7 o'clock last night. Locals have told us that this road has been busier recently, with people using it to bypass one of the main roads in and out of Rhondda because of roadworks. And people who live on this road have described the accident as horrific and a real tragedy, and something they'll never forget.
It's tragic, and I know there are multiple families grieving for their loss today, but I know as well the community of Tonopandi is standing by them and feeling the same pain as tight-knit communities do feel in a situation like this. We come together. I know the community of COEDELY last night came out and they opened the community centre to try and help in any way they could.
7 ambulances were sent to the scene of the crash. The road was closed throughout the night and for most of the morning while police carried out their investigations. It has reopened and police are appealing for witnesses, but the crash has shocked this community.
Well, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
What did you see?
Well, ambulances, fire brigade, police. Like I said, I didn't go near the accident, you know.
It's a shock when something happens like this today, you know. We people in the village, we don't expect this.
Morgan's father described his son on social media as the most perfect son you could ever wish for, while Mardy Boxing Club, where Morgan boxed, paid tribute to the 18-year-old, saying he was a very talented boxer, becoming Welsh champion and the nicest person you could meet.
He's a great boy, honestly. Hell of a boxer. He had a great talent, and everyone's just devastated because they aren't even started their lives yet.
And Welsh Boxing also issued a tribute, saying he became Welsh youth champion last year, and all thoughts are with family and friends and those at Mardy Boxing Club. The local church in COEDELY is open this evening for quiet reflection and to pray for the lives which were lost so young, and for the teenagers still in hospital.
So, a very difficult time here. Danny Grian is a local councillor. Danny, terrible shock for people.
The past 24 hours have been difficult. For the people in COEDELY who live closest to where the accident was, for the wider community of Tonopandi and for the wider community of the valleys, the Rhondda valleys, it's been hard coming to terms with the reality of loss of 3 teenagers and 2 still fighting for their lives in hospital, from what I understand.
It's hard to imagine what all the families are going through right now.
I can't. I've never been in that situation, but I just know that the community that is around them their families, their friends, and I know they were all parts of groups, wider groups, and they are coming together. I think Callum was a member of the boxing club up in Maerdy, and they are opening their doors tomorrow night just for people to go and talk and to discuss how they're feeling about this. And people are hurting, you know, when tragic accidents like this happen, especially when they're so young. It does have a profound effect on a community.
This is a tight community and people have been coming together. The community centre here opened its doors last night.
Oh, I'd like to thank the residents of COEDELY. They came down, they opened the community centre last night just to see if there was any way they could help to open it as a hub for any emergency workers that just needed a break, needed somewhere to warm up, to dry out, to have a nice cup of tea. And that's what happens in close-knit communities. When things like this happen, when emergencies happen, we are there for each other.
And Danny, you live in Tonoreville, a couple of miles away. You know this area very well. What can you tell us about this stretch of road?
The community, the residents of COEDELY, have been asking for traffic calming measures on this road for years. Since I was elected, one of the first things that I did was to call for traffic calming measures along this stretch of road. It's one of those stretches when the bypass fills up. People come along this road, and of course they try to speed up just to try and beat the traffic on the bypass. And the people of COEDELY have been saying it's an accident waiting to happen, and I think, unfortunately, last night that.
Well, we don't yet know the circumstances of the accident,
we don't,
and that
but there
will
was
be
a tragic
investigated.
accident.
It certainly was. Danny, thank you so much for your time this evening. Nick, that's it from me. Come back a little bit later on. For now.